Is our first GUI calculator, okay, made in a WPF application. So if you guys are getting your projects ready, the second option is a WPF application. How's it going to work? It's a but ugly, simple calculator. So if I type in 12, even notice it says 0 there, but ignore that. Plus 9 equals 21.
Oh no.
It's as simple as that, okay? We're just going to get the basics out. We're going to have a run through, and I'm going to show you how to put it all together to start with, okay, guys? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, New Project, to get the same dialogue you guys get. Can you imagine what kind of name I'm going to give it?
Calculator.
Oh, you guys are imaginative.
2.0.
Nah, it's just going to say calculator. All right. So guys, if you haven't done the WPF, if you weren't here last week, don't stress. I'm going to start things pretty basic today. Okay. The first thing you're gonna want to do is resize your form. Now, the one mistake that a lot of people make when they make a WPF application is they click in the middle here and they start resizing that. Pardon? No, you could do it up the top or down the bottom if you want. But if you have a look down in our code in the bottom, like our interface code, it actually is, see how it's highlighted the word grid on my screen, guys, down the bottom? No? Yep, maybe? Come in, it's all right. If I was about to resize, if I was going to resize that object, guys, I'm actually resizing a grid on my form, and I don't want to do that. What you want to do, guys, is you want to click on the very outline border there, so you've got a big blue line around the entire thing, and then when I resize it, that's going to be the actual form. Make sense? Yep. So you don't ever have to resize that white box. Just leave him, he's good. All right? Now, to add things to your projects, all that is done through the toolbox on the left-hand side there, guys. You've got your common controls. They're the ones you're obviously going to use the most because they're common. All right? Can you guess what the object was, or sorry, the control was at the very top of my calculator? It was a box. It had text in it. It's a text box. All right? To add it, I'm just going to double-click on the word text box under toolbox. And you can see it's just jammed the text box right there in there for me. Okay, I'm going to align it so it sort of grabs on the top and left, and then resize it so it grabs on the right. Okay, I might make it a little bit higher too. Go to your common controls at the top there, Matt. See how there's 3 categories? Click on where it says common WPF controls. There you go. Alright guys, can you guess what those big things were that I clicked on? They were buttons. So what I'm going to do, guys, double click again to get a button. And I'm going to resize the button. And can you see when I resize there, guys, it actually gives me the numbers of how big it is. It tells you the height and the width as you go. I just did 50 by 50. So there's 50. There's 50. Alright. Obviously, do you guys want to do that? Well, how many times would that be? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times? You're a madman, Ince. Alright. What you can do, if you hold the Alt key while you move your control, it starts duplicating them for you straight away. And to be even more of a tricky bastard, hold Shift to select a couple of them. And now if you hold Alt and move it, makes the whole bloody thing for you. In about 2 seconds flat. Alright, so I'm just going to arrange this. So I've got all my buttons. Whoop, that button's not right. There we go. And I'm going to resize my form, guys. Oh, text box first. And then my form. There you go. How easy is that? I reckon it is anyway. If you've never done any GUI programming before, you've just made 15 buttons in all of what? 30 seconds? I'll give you a second to do that, guys, because I know you want to try and be at the same pace as me. Okay guys, now when you're working with variables, what's the first thing that we do after we type the word dim? We name it. Have we named these buttons or text box? Whenever you are going to use a control that the user interacts with, are they going to interact with all those things?
Yep.
They sure as hell are. You need to name them. Alright? And naming conventions in GUI programs are a little bit interesting. So if I can get your attention purely just for a sec there, guys. So this guy up here, he's a text box, right? Can anyone take a stab? I'm going to reduce every name of a control down to 3 letters. What could you reduce a text box down to in 3 letters? That's what we do. Okay? So text boxes, you always start their names with TXT. And the reason you do that is because it will distinguish a text box from a variable, from a record, or sorry, a class I should say, from an array, from a list, all that kind of stuff. Alright, so I know it's a text box straight away. When you click on the text box, guys, can you see the properties panel over here? And the first thing you see is no name. So I'm going to click in no name, and I'm going to call it TXT, and then put the name of the text box after it. Because if you have more than one text box, it's obviously you want to name them pretty specifically. Do you want to take a stab at what I want to call it, or what you want to call it? Stuff. What do you call them? Like on a calculator, you got the thing at the top. Yeah, you call it the screen. So I'm going to call mine TXT screen. Okay. The other thing is, what about the text in the actual box itself? Where does a number start on a calculator? Does it start on the left? Where's it start? Starts on the board.
On the right.
Sorry, Chris, had to do that. In the text property, if you scroll down, there's a category called text. Okay, click on that. And it gives you little tabs across the top. You've got an A, and the second one is what you want. It's a paragraph tab, I should say. And can you see where it says left, guys, on my screen? I'm just going to change it to right. And the text gets pushed across. Alright. Right now, if I start my program up, okay, nothing special. Can you see how it says text box? What should it say? Alright. Can anybody tell me what property I might change? What is going on here? Yeah. There's a property called text. So just type in 0. And then a number 0 is going to pop in your text box. Alright. Now I've done a little bit there, guys, and I'll come around in a sec, but can I get your attention for the buttons? And I'm only going to do one of them because you're going to do the rest. First thing is you don't want every single one to say button. You obviously want the numbers on there, the symbols on there, and the equals at the bottom. What you can do to quickly change this is double click on the button. No, apparently not, I can't. Slowly double click. If you type in 7, press enter, it's going to make it the number 7 box. Slowly 8, actually don't press enter because, yeah, there you go, it puts a new line in there.
Oh, you just got to click on the top one.
Ah, Maxwell, you're into it. So you've got to double click on the top. Very nice. I double click because it highlights the word button. Okay. And the second thing I want you to do for each button, guys, is name them. How can we shorten the word button down to 3 letters?
BTN.
BTN, and then just put the number. So that one at the top left, BTN, take a stab.
But 1.
BTN 7,
Oh, why is that 7?
because it has the number 7 in it.
Oh, you can't see that.
I'm copying a numpad.
Oh, they got upwards. Meh.
You can do it any way you want. So right now, guys, it's just a matter of setting up this. So I'll give you a few seconds, well, I'll give you a couple of minutes to do it.
What is the... Oh, is that a decimal or...
It's a 0
Oh, underneath. 0.
equals.
It's very, yeah, thick.
Well, most equals buttons are bigger than drums.
They are. Most, anyway.
Not like the
Should have a
symbols.
play button.
6.
And that's just a bit different with the pi button. Instead of having the symbol, you just on each row you just put it in pi.
Alright. Alright. So get the text on each of your button, guys. Give a name to every single button. So what do I do there? Go back to your own minute. You know how like on a file, if you slowly click on it, it gives you the chance to rename it. It's the same sort of system, I think. Very good. The one thing I suggest, BTN, always keep that lowercase. I know you've got IS there. Yep. Don't worry about changing it for the moment, but just in the future. Yep. So it's just a good reference. Okay, on that, you got?
Yeah.
Is it accepting those special characters in the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I haven't yelled at me yet.
I'm surprised, to be honest. You alright, guys?
Oh, it changed.
Okay.
So it changes it to underscore something. The minute you put a special character, just change it to underscore.
you have put the
Because there's already an underscore anymore.
Must be messy for that. So I'm going to take a guess at the beginning. Alright, see what you do. Changes it. I'll try and find a nice way to do it. Yeah, you agree. So, can you drag that in that effectively? Yeah, it's designed to do that. That's what the group does. And I mean, if I figure out something nice, I'll show you.
Remember there used to be like a thing called BTN.
And that's what the grid object does.
BTN.
Oh yeah,
Are we in here next?
Yeah.
Are we?
English ones.
Yep. It's time to move on to a bit of the coding. The first thing I like to do is set up the variables which are going to be used for the whole program. So, it's basically 3 things that are going to happen. You're going to type in your first number. That's going to be a variable. You'll hit an operation on the right-hand side. That's going to be a variable because we need to remember what they pressed. And then they're going to type in the second number. So 3 variables all up, guys. All right. Takes a bit of practice to get used to this. But can you all see your VB tab at the top? If you just click on that, I'm going to get rid of these private subs. If you've got private subs, you can wipe them. Just get rid of them for the moment. And at the very top, we're going to dim some variables. Let's go dim number 1 as... I'm going to introduce a new data type to you as well.
Wrong.
Not wrong.
Long.
Yes. All right. So what a long is, guys? It's a very big integer. You guys know when we use integers, there's like a limit to how big the number can be. A long number's, let's say, roughly 10 times the size of that. So much, much bigger. And it seems a bit more logical for calculators to use a very large number. Yeah. Okay. So can you see we're going to put all our data? Pretty straightforward. All right. It's time to add the code to the buttons. And this is going to be semi the hard part, semi the easy part. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to program my 7 button for the moment. Do you guys want to go back to your... Just quickly type that last bit out there, Chris. Come back to your form. Pick a button you want to put the first code under. So one of the numbers. Okay? Can you guys on the right hand side see the lightning bolt? There's a spanner and a lightning bolt. Click on the lightning bolts. Okay? And all of our code is going to go under click. Alright? So guys, what you're going to do, if you have text there, just get rid of it. Alright, for the moment. And what you're going to do is double click on that empty text box next to the word click. So, there it is. So tell me if that didn't work for you guys. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, most of it, yeah. All right, now what I just quickly want to stress, guys, do not type that in yourself. Because if I scroll across, can you see this big handles button 7 click? That's incredibly important. And if you were to type it in yourself and you missed that, your code would never occur. All right. Now, if you read that, it says button 7 click. So can you imagine when this code's going to execute, when it's going to occur?
When the button gets clicked.
When the button gets clicked. So what do we want to do? We want to, when they click on a number, what are we going to do, guys?
Add a number in TextBox.
Add a number in the text box. What's the name of our text box?
String.
Chris, on the ball. Now, what was the property of our text box that we changed to put the 0 in it?
Text.
Text. Was that you, Ethan? Or Nick? Cool. So what you do is you go textscreen.text equals 7. If that looks too easy, that's because it sort of is. Right, watch this, guys. If I play my program, oh, I've got an error. Oh no! Might get rid of that. Whew. All right. If I press 7, can you all see it? However, if I keep mashing 7, it's not adding the numbers on. What I'm going to do, guys, with this code, do you remember the name of that bad boy? Concatenate, which means add in strings. So when I mash 7, it's just going to add lots of 7s. This is because we're accidentally clicking just delete that one line of code. Yep. Okie doke. Perfect. Alright, must be mess. This is because we'll delete those subs. I did as well. I'm just going to get rid of this one. If you got rid of the sub, you got visual basic expression. Good. Okie dokie, people. So, moving on from that, I'm not going to do the rest of the number buttons. You are. What we are going to do is the operation buttons now. So, if you think about it, I'm just going to do the add button for the moment. Same thing we did before. Lightning bolts, click events. Let's get into the button add click code. So what we're going to put in here, it's going to capture the number. Where's the number going to come from? What control on our form has the number they've typed in? So the number is stored inside of text screen, isn't it, guys? Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is capture the number. So number 1 equals text screen, and you have to have dot text. Alright, the dot text just grabs the words inside the box, or the numbers for that matter. Alright, second thing we're going to do, we need to know what operation that they've just selected. So what operation did they select by clicking on button add? That's it. So we go operation equals add. And then finally, we're going to set the text box back to the number 0. So txt screen equals 0. How's that look so far, guys? Is that okay? We're almost done, by the way. Yeah, you might be a bit peeved. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do, guys, if you just bear with me, is I'm going to program the equals button. So I'll keep this code up on the screen at the same time. But I'm going to go to the equals button, double click on the add, and click event. So when they click on the equals, we're going to grab the second number. We're going to check what operation they selected. And then what are we going to do, guys, do you reckon? So, add them. So number 2 equals text screen dot text. Then we check the operation. If operation equals add, then we add them together. So how's that look, guys? Is that okay? So obviously I haven't finished all the buttons, but that is the basics. That's what you do for that one there, guys.